important to appreciate the people who are sharing their stories, their time, and their thoughts with us. Last thing, everybody stand up. Once again, it takes a lot of guts. We're going to take a group breath to calm everybody's nerves. As speakers, this is for you guys. Everybody, breathe in deeply. 1. On the count of 3, we're going to let it out. Keep breathing in. 1, 2, 3. Let it out collectively. Do we feel the calm energy in the room? I'm directing this towards you guys. You guys feeling okay? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's sit down and let's get started. Our first speaker tonight is Fahad Al-Shamsan. Did I say that right? Okay. He is from Saudi Arabia and a big Arsenal fan. He is currently studying economics and education. He is passionate about the game of soccer, and I found this part extremely interesting. He is interested in getting people to maximize their potential. What an incredible thing to be interested in. I mean that sincerely. That's an incredible thing to be interested in. He is a world traveler and has lived in London, Greece, a lot of other places I can't pronounce correctly, before moving to New York City. And the title of his speech is Keep the Ball Rolling. Let's give a round of applause for Fahad Al-Shamsan.
Hi everybody. Oh, the clicker. First of all, I want to thank everybody who was behind this TED committee who put this event together. Thanks Becky for the introduction. And thank you guys for showing up. It's a real honor for me to be doing this. Second of all, I'm not going to stand here claiming that I have found the magical solution to educational reform, but I'm going to stand here and remind you of a tool that's been existent for years and years and been forgotten. And my job today is to say, all right, let's revive this and use it because it actually works. So, my name is Fahad. I come from Saudi Arabia. I'm sure a lot of you know what that is, but for those who don't, this is not working. Yeah. So this is North Africa and the Middle East right there. Saudi is right here, bordered by Iraq and Jordan in the north, Yemen and Oman in the south, Egypt on the west. Just to put on the map. Anyways, so first of all, I want to ask a very important question. What are schools for? What is the role of school in society? This question was asked probably 100 years ago or so. But I think it's time to revisit that question. Everybody knows that schools are there to educate people, prepare them to get jobs. What I read in my economics readings is we have to produce democratic citizens that are able to contribute to society and then contribute to the economy so we can have enough growth and they can work and get jobs and the economy will grow and the country will be better off. Everybody agrees with that. I don't think anybody in this room disagrees. However, my question is, have we been doing that very well? Are we aligning with that goal? Okay, so I think we've shifted away from that goal, and I'm going to revisit that question at the end of the presentation. It's going to be the next 12 minutes. I'm going to talk about why I'm going to define physical education, and then I'm going to talk about why I think it should be done, talk a little bit of my experience, why I came to this conclusion, and then we'll present the solution. All right, so the current situation, physical education is, it's okay, you can do it. Physical education is not just one thing. It's not just sports. Physical education is a big umbrella that includes sports, both team sports, like basketball, soccer, and all the other great sports. And then you have individual sports like swimming and tennis. It also includes fitness, weightlifting, wellness like yoga, Pilates, a lot of things that people just confuse what physical education is with sports. So now let's examine the current situation. Can I have the next slide? So, PE right now is being neglected. 44% of schools all over the US have decided to cut PE or reduce the time significantly. Not just PE, this is also with the arts. This has been a trend happening since 2001, since No Child Left Behind has begun. So that's what's happening in PE. It's being neglected, not just on the school level, but it's becoming a policy thing. Like, policymakers think it's not important, so let's cut it off. And the reason this is happening is because schools are being judged on how well they perform in math and reading. So if your scores in math and reading are high, then you're fine, you're going to get your budget. If not, you're going to cut your budget because next year you're going to have to perform better. What does that mean? That means you're going to have to cut the unimportant subjects, such as arts, physical education, geography, or whatever policymakers, school administrators don't think that is important, just to satisfy this requirement. Now the other problem is, another sad statistics, can I have the next slide please? We have children from ages 6 to 11 have been classified as obese, and that in 1980, that was at 7%, 2010, just 4 years ago, it had risen to 18%. So that's the children. What about the teenagers, the adolescents? They were lower, it was at 5%, now it's at 18%. So wait, hang on a second. You're telling me that 1/5 of my population in the United States is obese, is classified as obese. And this is a trend that has been increasing. At the same time, physical education has been declining. I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just throwing it out there. This is what's happening right now. Okay. Now, why is that a problem? So what? Physical education is being cut. It's not an important subject. It's just for fun. Kids are just playing. They're playing sports. They're wasting their time, letting off the energy. But then you have problems like obesity. You have problems like teenager depression. You have problems like lack of social skills, high school dropouts. All these problems that are major in all countries, not just the US. But I believe, I'm not saying that PE can solve everything, but it can definitely help. Now, can I have the next? Right. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Back up a little bit why I'm claiming that PE does all these good things. So in 2007, I came to Worcester, Massachusetts. If you don't know where that is, it's an hour away from Boston, a really boring town, nothing to do there. I spent most of my time on campus. Anyways, I wanted to play for the soccer team, the varsity team, thinking that, oh yeah, these Americans, they don't know anything about soccer, I'm probably going to walk on the team, we're going to be captain. By the way, it's not even a question. So I get there, there's a whole process that you're supposed to recruit players from high school. I didn't know, I just came from Saudi with that ignorant and arrogant attitude. So I didn't make the team, but that didn't stop me from playing. I decided to create a club team. So 2 years in my undergraduate journey, the club got approved, but they didn't want to give us money because they're like, we don't have to test if you're serious or not. You need 2 semesters to prove that. We're not going to give you any money until you prove it. Like, great, fine, we have the club, we don't have no money, what are we going to do now? You can't hire a coach. Like, my friends and the people I made the club with said, Fahad, since you've been behind this, why don't you coach us? Like, all right, I don't know anything about coaching, but I'll teach myself. So, so I ended up coaching the team for 2 years, ages, college age, 18 to 23. And then graduation came, actually my senior year I ended up playing for the varsity team as well. And then graduation time came. So I asked myself, question everybody in this room, or almost everybody asked themselves, what am I going to do now after I graduate? So I studied economics. I coached for 2 years. I ended up loving coaching. I'm like, I'm in this dilemma. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to apply to be a financial analyst? Am I going to be whatever jobs I can find in Saudi or whatever OPT can get me? So, anyways, just a month before I graduated, my mother unfortunately was diagnosed with with a brain tumor, and she came to the US to get treated. So it wasn't a question of what am I going to do with my career. I just wanted to go home and be with my mother, which I did. So I spent the next year in Saudi. Ended up working in a management consulting position in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. By the end of that year, my mother unfortunately passed away. So I wanted to get away from Saudi, I wanted to get away from Riyadh. I needed a change of scenery, like I'm done with this. And the thing about when my mom passed away is that it gave me this attitude. It's like, you know what, I don't really care if I'm making the wrong decision, if I'm making a good decision. I don't care if I please anybody. All I want is to please myself. So I was accepted at an internship at Arsenal Football Club. Any Arsenal fans here? Yes! The popularity. Okay, so, and then I decided to quit my consulting job, which was a really good job. I quit my job and I went to London for 5 months to coach soccer in North London, Islington to be more specific, at inner city schools. For PE sessions and for after-school programs, I did that for 5 months. Then Arsenal sent me to Greece to coach at Arsenal soccer schools. What that means is parents bring their kids, they pay them money, they pay the soccer school money to coach their kids. It's an after-school program, totally for-profit model. Nothing charity about that. The community program in London was a charity setup. Anyways, for me, I just wanted to practice my coaching. I wanted to improve. It's a great experience. Got to be in different countries. Now I'm done with that. After I came to TC to start my degree, and I've been coaching as well last semester in Harlem with 2 organizations that are community-based organizations, not for profit. So basically what I'm trying to say here is I've been coaching in 4 different settings, completely different models, each one has its own agenda. So coaching is my passion. I realized that after I completed my internship. Now, so what? I'm studying economics and education. Why do I think this is important? What's the link between the 2? So I think that, now let me just clarify that those 9 months I spent in London and Greece, I wasn't really excited as a person. I wasn't enjoying life much because I just lost my mother. But especially in Greece, like when I was in Greece, it was winter. Greece has this great reputation. It's like the best place, you're gonna enjoy it. Okay, I was in Greece, I was traveling. I was traveling 1 week to a different soccer school. So I was 14 weeks traveling inside Greece. I went to Athens, tiny island called Aegina, Kefalonia. I've ridden buses, boats, you name it, anything. Almost as a camel, like that's the only thing I haven't. So it wasn't really a good time to be in Greece, especially it was going through like an economic crisis. Now this photo here is the last day of my internship. This guy is the fellow coach, is the head coach in the series. He was about to drive me to the airport right after this. And you can see this kid is like smiling, everybody's smiling. The session has been over for at least 20 minutes. These 2 kids are still playing. Why are they playing? Like, why don't you just go home? So, now, they're playing because they love to play, because it's so much fun. Like, the only way you're going to get those guys to be, to leave is either I come up and take the ball away from them, or their parents are going to say, all right, it's time to go home. They love it. Now let me ask you, is that ever going to happen in a math class? Okay, so I'm going to revisit the first question, is what is the role of school? What are we trying to do? So you have this pressure on schools to produce math-efficient students and great readers who can express, who can understand and comprehend anything they read. Great. What about the other skills? What about the social skills? What about being part of a team? What about the discipline that you need to be a high performer in any discipline in life? Whether it's an athlete or whether it's to be a scientist, a researcher, an artist. Where are those lessons? You've got math and English, like two big agendas, and then got all the other subjects scattered around. What I'm trying to advocate for is that PE should be as important as math. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying math, I'm not standing here and bashing math all the time. I did minor in math, I love math, I think it's fun. But it's not the most important thing in the world. Like, there are other skills that you need as well. Now, with that said, PE can teach a lot of lessons, can build confidence, empowerment in women, and it can teach somebody to be part of a team, which is a necessary skill in any business, in any job you want to go to. So we need to prepare people to be well-rounded, educated citizens, not just people who can solve the most complicated quadratic formula. That's not the goal of education. And I strongly believe PE can do this. PE doesn't only have the power to teach, but it also has the power to heal. Depression is always healed by physical activity, and that's been proven. And I've experienced that firsthand while doing this internship. These kids put a smile on my face in a miserable, economic, depressed Greece. And I still smile. So what I'm trying to say is education is a continuing process. It doesn't end in high school. And I use a metaphor that education is like the ball. And when the ball stops, nobody's watching any game. So our job here, and all of you are interested in education one way or another, I'd say advocate for PE and the arts, because it's not just about PE, arts as well. And I've talked about soccer all the time, and imagine these results that can happen only from the game of soccer. But if we actually make PE with all its other disciplines great, then can you imagine the results? I'm going to build my career on soccer. What if PE was used in general and it's been done properly? Thank you.